tea, Earl Grey, hot. Well, if Picard can drink it. So, it's a beautiful Monday afternoon. The sky is lovely and blue, nary a cloud in sight. It's a little bit chilly, that's why the door's closed. As Storm St Jude batters away at the southern parts of our nation. Should have called it Hey Jude, because that would have made it better. Oh, no, okay. So basically this is a who, why, what, where, when, how type video, because I haven't finished anything since the Spitfire, which, by the way, was at the Glasgow IPMS model show last weekend, and I entered the Spitfire into the 144th category. Well, obviously into the 144th category aircraft. There wouldn't be much point in putting into the 1700th shit category, would it? And it won. It took first in its class. Although there was only 6 entries, and I put the I keep calling it Hellcat, the Wildcat in as well, just to bring up the numbers. I actually came third, even though it won the Scottish Nationals. I only came third. Third in class. Not that that matters. Not that it matters one little jot. But I was up against 4 jets. Again, I think all by the same modeler. There was an F-15, an F-14, an F-16, and I think an F-18, all in 1/44th scale. Now the thing is, the way I see it, and obviously I'm not speaking out of sour grapes here, because I won 2 of the 3 possible awards. I still think, and I know for some of the big competitions, especially the nationals that are coming up, the scale model world, that there should be a separate category for props and jets, because they are 2 different disciplines really, I think. But the reason I think there should be 2 different categories, and this actually stems back to when I was judging at the Scottish Nationals a few years back. For some unknown reason, I'm always given armour. I don't know why I always seem to get armour as the main categories that I have to help judge. And the thing is, I know nothing about armour, which is probably a good thing, because then I'm judging the model purely on its merits, its own merits. I'm not saying, oh, that's technically incorrect, that shouldn't have this kind of whatever stuck on it, or it shouldn't be that colour. If it's properly made and properly finished, that's really what it should be judged on. I mean, if you want to put in a pink and purple striped Spitfire, as long as it's painted properly and finished properly and built properly, then it shouldn't matter what colour it is. It's not a technical competition, it's a modelling competition. It's modelling skills that are on display here. But the thing is, the chap that I was judging with didn't like modern tanks. He only liked World War II tanks, or period style tanks. And as a result, he was very, very dismissive of the modern armour, which was a shame, because there was some stunning. I can remember now, there was a Gulf War, I can't remember what the tank was because I know nothing about tanks, a Gulf War subject that was just beautifully, the weathering on it was just spot on, but he was going for these little Airfix Cromwells and stuff because he liked that type of thing, which I think is unfair, and it just shows how subjective these competitions are. I mean, for example, at Glasgow, now I'm not saying that my Spitfire was the best and deserved to win, but the thing is, obviously it's a fairly detailed little kit, whereas the jets were just more or less out of box. But had the guy who was judging it been a jet fan, then I could have suffered as a result. You know what I'm trying to say without sort of sounding like I'm blowing one trumpet saying, I should have won. But anyway. Yeah, so anyway, whilst I was at Glasgow, I found the same seller, trader, that I purchased last year, the Wildcat and the Zeros, the Sweet Zeros, and the Sweet 109. And this year, and because I'm kind of new to the hobby in terms of how long it's been since I've returned to the hobby, shall we say, and there's a lot more, a huge variety of manufacturers. By the way, every time I look up that way, it's where my work in progress shelf is. So there's Fine Molds, and there's Edward, and there's CoPro and whatnot. So we've got Trumpeter and Academy, and This is Platts. They're a Japanese manufacturer who specialise in making these little 1/44 kits. They're probably like a direct competition to Sweet. And I picked this little thing up for £5. Again, there's 2 kits in the one box. And it's the Shinden Kai, Japanese heavy fighter. Great little kit, absolutely beautiful little kit, superbly moulded. The canopy is, I mean, it's an injection moulded canopy, and I kid you not, it is thinner. It is thinner than a vac form. I mean, you can actually squeeze it, it's so thin. And I actually dipped one of them in aqua gloss just to see what it would come out like, and it's damn well near invisible. It's fantastic. But one of the reasons I got this little chap was because I knew that Bren Gun, the people who I used the cockpit detail set for with the Spitfire, and I've also, I think I've shown you a picture of the sets for the Zero and the BF-109, they also do a cockpit detail set for this little chap. And because these canopies are so thin, hopefully I'll be able to cut them and we'll be able to see the interior. Remember, I was also talking about opening up the Wildcats engine and having a go at scratch building the little radial. Well, in addition to this, one of my next projects, which was actually coming from the stash, and this is something that I picked up at Scale Model World a couple of years back. And again, it's 1/44th, but I was wanting to try something a wee bit meatier, a bit bigger, rather than another fighter. And it's Ari is the manufacturer, again, somebody I've never heard of, Japanese manufacturer, at least I think that's how it's pronounced, it's A-R-I-I. I think it's an I, isn't it? Yeah. And it's the Kawanishi Emily, the big Japanese flying boat. Now the thing is, I've actually already got, I mean, these guys, if you do 1/44 scale, Bren Gun, check their stuff out, fantastic. Because I actually already have, I should say, Japanese seats and Japanese harnesses, which I was going to use because I was going to try and do something in the cockpit. But I went online and had a look to see if I could get a vac form canopy for it. The reason being that, unlike a fighter, which might be a bubble top or whatever and just sits on top of the fuselage, in the case of this, which looks very much like a Sunderland, I suppose, the canopy it sits flush with the fuselage. So I thought if I could get a ready-made vac form canopy, it would be fine. And as it turns out, there is a company who makes them. A company called Rob Torres, which, if you ask me, sounds like a 1970s porn star. But they do this little set for the Emily, which has vac form canopy, a photo etch fret, which gives us the little whisker antenna up front, as well as seats, instrument panel, harnesses, and engine covers, so that you can show the 4 resin engines that it also comes with. And every single cylinder is separate. They all come on little casting blocks of 5 each, and there are 20 casting blocks, as well as 4 individual crankcases. So you actually get 4 engines. Now, I'm not going to show this with all 4 engines opened up. I'll show 2 of them, which leaves 2 spare. Now, and this is where it gets good, the Kawanishi Emily is fitted with Mitsubishi chits. No, I just taken a mental blank and I can't remember what the engine's called. It's the Mitsubishi. Yeah, it's a Mitsubishi engine, which just so happens to be the same Mitsubishi engine that's fitted in the Shinden Kai. So if I'm putting 2 in there, that's going to leave me 2 spare. Now I'm not going to do them both. Although look, there's a prototype colour scheme like I did with the big Ripu. I think I might try that. Either that or one of the Squadron Leader ones. Because it'd be nice to go back to do a dark green one again. So I'm going to show one of these with obviously a nice cockpit and the engine on display as well. As it turns out, also I have in my stash a Fujimi Raiden, 1/44 scale Raiden, and the Raiden also uses that same Mitsubishi engine, so I'll be able to do some work, and Bren Gun do a cockpit set for that Raiden. So, got my work cut out for me. But I'll maybe do these in tandem actually, the Emily and the Shinden Kai. Also, when I was at Glasgow, you've probably seen this sitting on the workbench and you're thinking, what the hell? I picked up this, still in kind of its wrapping, the Matchbox 1/72 scale Helldiver. Now the reason I bought this is that for a little while now, I've had this urge to build a Matchbox kit, but to build it in old school Matchbox fashion, i.e. out the box, no paint, and just build it in. Well, this one's actually 3 colours, although it shows on the box here a grey, a light blue and a dark blue. This is actually a Chinese import. This has got Chinese writing on it. Normally there'd be a little window here where you could see all the sprues and stuff. And this one comes in a light grey, a dark grey and mother of pearl. But anyway. But yeah, it's just, I don't know why. It's maybe just some kind of distant memory of, you know, recollection of building these things like that on a Saturday morning or whatever, just straight out the box. It also doesn't come with decals, it comes with transfers. This strange little plastic sheet. I remember looking at it thinking, what the hell? And then when I looked at the instruction, you know, when it comes to the part where you would apply the decals, it shows you that you have to put this thing down and then rub. And we'll have a go. I mean, there's the other part of me who says, no, why don't we take this really old kit, because it's 1973, it's got moulded on the inside, so that's what, 40 years old. And there's a part of me says, no, we should take this old kit, and what's the glue? You actually get a wee tube of glue with the Chinese ones. Look, oh, there's the canopy, which isn't, yeah it is. Trench-like panel lines, recessed panel lines on the wings. I mean, these things are so deep you could fly an X-wing down them, as I've said before. Dark grey raised panel lines on the fuselage, and there's the pretty mother of pearl, little sparkly mother of pearl. Well, it's actually just like a metallic white or something, but I thought it would be an idea, if I could, to build this thing right out the box, no paint, but using my current skill sets, if you could even call them that, i.e. no gaps or seams or anything. But how do you fill without, you know, it doesn't matter if you're using like a filler and then you're painting over the filler, but if you're not going to be painting over it, how do you fill gaps? I can remember when I was a kid, because I couldn't afford to buy filler, if filler was even available in those days, it probably was. I used to sort of scrape the knife down the sprue and create little shavings and mix that with the polystyrene cement, so you actually ended up with this thick gluggy stuff that was the same colour as the plastic. So I don't know. I mean, talk about a one-day build. It's just sometimes fun just to stick things together. It was a fiver, but it would just be fun to try that. But anyway, oh, also the magazine builds. When I was trying to get the vac form canopy for the Emily, I noticed that Rob Torres also does vac form canopies for the P51 ABC Mustang. Because remember last time I said the reason I haven't progressed with that one is I was trying to vac form a canopy and blah blah blah. Well, now I've got a canopy, so I'll be able to get progress on that one. The Thunderbolt, not an awful lot. Got a canopy on it, well, the front section of the canopy. Done some panel line pre-shading on the underside, but for the top side, you can see I haven't done actual line shading. I'm doing this mottling effect, so I'm going to intersperse this with some lighter, maybe white, a light green, the chromate yellow, just so that when the olive drab goes on, it really is a multi-coloured sort of effect, so, you know, to imply lots of different faded panels over the periods of time, that kind of thing. Which was a technique that I employed on the other one that I got from the magazine, the little Trumpeter 1/48 scale Nanchang CJ6, which, this is the most recent one I've started, and it's in the final stages, shall we say. Underside's done, the wheels are on, and I did, with this one, I primed it using the chromate yellow colour. I did some panel line pre-shading, not an awful lot, because obviously being a trainer it's probably going to be in reasonable condition anyway, but it has produced some nice variations in the green, especially because it was yellow. It's not as stark as it might have been if it had been white or whatever, but it's produced some nice variations. So we're, by the next video, this should be finished. Being a sort of a try undercarriage, I've got about half a ton of lead in this cowling. I mean, talk about a tail sitter, this thing's almost a nose sitter. It's so heavy. But yeah, so that one's coming on, so we should have that one finished by the next video. Other than that, I think that's pretty much about it, gentlemen and ladies, if there's any ladies watching. Without further ado, I am going to go and do something. Hello.